Okay, it's 1st of October 2023, 13:52 IST. I'm at computer lab. I don't remember the number. Computer Center, SPS, Mysore, India. Okay. So basically, I've decided to write a good draft for all the theory involved in the experiment. So obviously we have to write it. So yeah. Now, what theory do we have? That's the first thing. So if you go to the first part of this experiment, we basically saw the microwave propagation. So in which I believe that the following are the theoretical aspects of it. The first aspect is that the generation of microwaves, which is basically the Klystron tube, production of Klystron tube. Here we use a reflex Klystron, so-called, which basically has a single cavity Klystron tube called reflex Klystron, where you control the reflex voltage, repelling voltage, or what it is called as. If you control the repeller voltage, your bunching of electrons will happen at different places, I suppose. And then right at the cavity, if you have good bunching, then that's a good repelling voltage. So you control that manually, and you get a high amplitude output. Okay, so there are many aspects of reflex Klystron where I have some doubts, like thing. Okay, sorry, I got zoned out. So there are many aspects of reflex Klystron that I don't understand. So the first part of such things is अगर single cavity है, if there is single cavity, then where are we getting is there okay, I mean, yeah, single cavity में is there feeding involved? Is there feeding involved? Do we feed anything? Do we feed low amplitude RF signal? Well, microwave frequency will interchange as. So yeah, so RF for microwaves. Shorthand for microwaves is RF. Okay, let's just use it that way. So do we feed a low amplitude RF signal to the single cavity? If we are feeding, where are we? I mean, it's all connected now. It's producing fields, and you need another cavity to do that. So I heard that I saw somewhere, in fact, almost all of the resources, that it can be used as an oscillator or an amplifier, right? So I'm supposing if you are feeding a low amplitude RF signal, you are using it as an amplifier. Then doesn't that require two cavities? Is my first question. The second question is, maybe you are using it as an oscillator. How exactly are you doing that? Because the bunching frequency, to have a bunching frequency, you need to provide a low amplitude RF signal at least. So I don't understand that aspect. So where feeding and RF output in a single cavity, how it is possible? That's the first thing. A single cavity. In a single cavity. How? Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is, okay, so you produce your RF output. Basically, you're amplifying or oscillating. How is your microwave um, being generated? Like, is it microwave source? I mean, yeah, something like that. So, is it like this? You have something, you have a an antenna sort of thing. I won't use the terminology of antenna. I'll just use it as a AC circuit. Okay, an AC circuit. This is the cavity region. Cavity में oscillation fields हो रहा है. Fields are also being oscillated. There is an AC current in this, and then it will give you the EM waves. The frequency corresponding to which one? Frequency कितना होगा? Will it be same as the AC current's frequency? Are they equal? Is the second question. If after this, what is the nature of the emitted waves? What nature of EM radiation? Emitted. Is it are they spherical? About some point, maybe this tip or something, but whole wire radiates, and that's shady. How do you do that? So one has to delve into the theory of AC circuits emitting waves. So do they emanate from some point, and is there an equivalent treatment of that? Okay. Nature of EM radiation, are they spherical? Okay, and then the third part comes ki waveguides. So you have a pyramidal waveguide here, right? Something like this in 2D. Now there are two aspects to this. This is an impedance aspect one has to solve, and then this rectangular waveguide. Well, that is also a waveguide, and how does it affect in terms of both impedance and waveguide? As impedance matcher and waveguide. This is the second question. This is the first question. The rectangular waveguide. How does it deal with this wave that is coming out? So the whole goal of this theory is to prove that you actually get spherical waves out of it. It's a very non-trivial fact. Spherical waves and linearly polarized. Linearly polarized. This sucks. Okay. There's that. Interesting. I like it. I like the way I've classified stuff. Now it's time to find out stuff. So the fact that I have come here and taking my thoughts to this video is because there is some problem. There's some problem because I'm not able to find resources on understanding the reflex Klystron properly. I've tried searching some resources like books, but they don't seem to cover them exactly. Obviously होगा, कहीं पे होगा, इंटरनेट में मिल जाएगा, but इतना hunting for stuff, not so great at that, so I'll just move to the second part because it's rather interesting. And it is something that is more objective, or not more accessible. Right here I have Jackson going around, so cool. Okay, cool. And Jackson is thanks to Abha. I have a Jackson. Cool. Okay, so now. Okay, I'll start doing the microwave source. Interesting. Okay, interesting. Okay, so what is the problem? So the question, I mean, is that you have an AC circuit. EM radiation due to the AC circuit. Okay. The main point why I've started this session is so that I can beat my disinterest in hunting this information. So maybe I should actually go back and search for stuff, huh? That is interesting. Yeah, I have to make it interesting because I'm confident that these calculations, these typical calculations, applied physical calculations, I will be doing somehow. Yeah, somehow I will do. So single cavity, back to single cavity. Okay, cool. So here we start. Single cavity. Single cavity what? Single cavity. Reflex Klystron. Okay. So let me use my laptop here when searching Reflex Klystron. Let's start from the basics. Reflex Klystron wiki. This is the first source everywhere, and then let me go to tutorial point or something. So I don't see any input RF. Okay, so the frequency is big. Okay. So how do you generate the RF RF output without any frequency in your mind and its mind ever? So okay, let me just read this page now. This microwave generator is a Klystron that works on reflections and oscillations in a single cavity which has a variable frequency. Okay. Reflex Klystron consists of an electron gun, a cathode filament, and an anode cavity, and an electrode at the cathode potential. Wait. Anode attracts anions. Okay. Repeller. Repeller electrode. have the filament and electron was low power and has low efficiency. Okay. So the electron runs amidst the electron beam which passes through the gap in the anode cavity. Is at high negative potential due to the high negative field, the electrons repel back to anode cavity. What the fuck? These electrons travel towards repeller electron, which is at high negative potential. Okay. Due to the high negative field, the electrons repel back to the anode cavity. True. In their return journey, the electrons give more energy to the gap, and these oscillations are sustained. The construction details of this reflection are shown in the figure. Okay. So the claim is that you start electrons from here, accelerate them. No. Just constant velocity shooting out electrons. Then you put a repeller voltage. Now you will have an oscillation. You have sustained oscillations. That's the claim. Okay. So yeah, there will be some sort of oscillation because it will ripple from both directions. And why won't there be an equilibrium position? Because there is a velocity here. So if you start with some velocity, it will oscillate as it should be. And fair enough. The electrons give more energy to the gap, and these oscillations are sustained. The construction details. Okay. Let's assume that oscillations already exist in the tube and they're sustained by its operation. The electrons, while passing through the anode cavity, gain some velocity. Now, in anode cavity, these are already forming bunches. Now, at some sort of frequency. This frequency is interesting to calculate classically. I mean, it's just a cathode, just oscillation between a cathode and anode given a velocity v from the gun. So that should be straightforward calculation. And what else? The oscillation part is fine. What frequency of oscillation you are getting is obviously the most important question here. And the claim is that it is actually at RF radio frequency or microwave frequency, that the bunching will result in the oscillations of electric fields and thus also magnetic field in the cavity, as explained in that beautiful video of someone in World War II time or whatever. So these will oscillate. The cavity maybe you have electric fields and magnetic fields oscillating, and now you connect now you want a RF output. Okay, so to get an RF output you need a coaxial out loop. So what is a coaxial loop? It's just something guides, right? Waveguide, right? It's a simple waveguide, huh? The simple is a copper cable specifically built with a metal shield and other components engineered to block signal interference. Wow. Yeah, these subtle things are these seem like an engineering thing, but actually what governs them is the very physics of it, right? So I really feel like you have to take this opportunity after medicine and understand these aspects of cables, transmission lines and circuits, fields and whatever, right? All the crux, all these subtle things, Yep. So I see that in a coaxial cable there is a copper conductor, fair enough, then insulator, okay, braided metal conductor. Now this shields from the external radio frequency inputs or after noise that Karthik sir was pointing to. So you have a long cable, then you have yourself made a antenna. You protect it with an insulator so that the fields don't go everywhere, I suppose. Something like that. Is it? Why do we use insulators? because there is, so that you don't give a path to insulator, so that you don't give if there is some other conducting material, you will have yourself a field path where the Poynting vectors travel and give another current. So it's a bad thing. You put an insulator. How exactly it is stopping? No idea. The fields they are killed. I mean, the fields are killed. Is that it? No, like that, right? These are very strong claims that I have to. Okay, see. And why the hell Geeks is giving a coaxial cable information? So anyway, so you have this. Then you have the braided bundle conductor to protect from to shield it from the higher low frequency signals or higher whatever. Basically, any random fringent EM radiation that's traveling around us. Basically, the skinned up stuff, and then you put another protective plastic layer. So yeah, okay, so plastic layer shields. How much does plastic layer shield? I don't know. How much does insulator shield? You don't know. So these are some strong things that we'll probe next in the next experiment. Fair enough. And let me check if I'm recording. Okay, so coaxial cable is a type of copper cable specially built with a metal shield and other components engineered to block signal interference. Okay, fair enough. So you put a copper conductor loop. Now you will have yourself a AC conductor. Sorry, shit, क्या बोल रहा हूँ यार. Basically, an AC circuit as a something that's taking the electric field information inside the cavity to the outside in the form of AC current, and this AC current actually emits its own field. So you see, you put a field, you take a field, you have some field generated, throw it into the conductor, channel it through the conductor. Your conductors are nothing but waveguides. Okay, conductors are nothing but waveguides. That's an interesting thing. Because the surface पे ही travel करेगा अंदर. So this is something interesting. Your circuits, your conductors are just waveguides because they're just guiding your Poynting vector from one place to other. Right? This is an interesting thing that we'll probe next in the next experiment. But yeah, for now, yes, conductor is a waveguide like thing which guides your field that you put into it to some other place where you can actually emit them and transmit them to some region. So yeah, there comes a coaxial cable from it, and then you put it in a rectangular waveguide. That actually sums up the working of it. So let me take a photo of the figure that I'm referring to. Okay. What the fuck? Okay, so the subtle points in this is this part here where you have AC. Okay, the fields here generating AC current, then this also produce EM waves. Actually, that is interesting. Radiation. The fields here, they're varying at a frequency of something, but they're not radiation. It's not radiation exactly. Oh, that's That's interesting. The fields produced in the cavity are not radiation by themselves, right? Radiation is when the fields are not channeled, they're just let out. And then you see that even at infinity, the power is not zero. Some sort of this measurement, right? So how do you get it out? How do you let these fields out? Take an AC, take a coaxial cable, so that these fields will be converted into something called an alternating current in the wire. And this alternating current actually produces electromagnetic radiation, quote unquote radiation. Okay, and that's what we need here, microwaves, right? Waves that propagate in time and space. That's interesting. We actually get time harmonic spherical waves from it. That's the claim. Okay? But this is the setup. Okay, this is the setup for fields. You have fields. You then produce an AC current. Then you have EM waves for yourselves to play around. Okay, that's the thing. What frequency? Okay, before going to that, let's talk about the fundamental frequency involved here. This here involves a certain frequency. Oscillations are involved. I've talked about how oscillations are coming. So basically you have a minus plus. Wait, what? देखोगे भाई ये माइनस है. That is interesting. बट इधर प्लस, ठीक है. इधर से इधर तक एक्सेलरेट हो रहा है, बट देन इधर नहीं हो रहा. फिर वापस आएगा, एनर्जी आएगा, इधर आएगा, फिर रिपल हो जाएगा, फिर इधर जाएगा. बट यू हैव सम इनिशियल वेलोसिटी v, so it doesn't die out that easily, I guess. So yeah, this is the oscillation. This setup produces an oscillation of electrons. This leads to bunching. This leads to fields in cavity, high fields in cavity. This feed it to an coaxial cable. This will give you AC current, alternative current AC. This gives you the EM radiation that you want. So these oscillations have some frequency, yeah. Assuming they are harmonic in time, first of all. It is also a claim, but let us. Okay, that's something that I will work on. All of that I would love to work on. So maybe I will work on. So whatever. Let us assume that time harmonic oscillations, and you get a frequency. If you get a frequency, the question is this frequency of EM radiation wave? You actually get waves, EM waves. EM waves are your radiation. Okay, good. The frequency of this is equal to the frequency of this. Are they same frequencies? Does it even matter? Maybe not. Doesn't even matter, maybe. But it's always important to know what's happening inside, right? There's a certain frequency. You get a certain frequency. So it dictates what voltage you need, and yeah, sort of stuff. With repairer voltage, is the frequency changing, and all stuff. Okay, so does it matter? Maybe not. Does it matter? Maybe not. But yeah, it relates the frequencies you are playing around with here, and repairer voltage versus repeller voltage. Versus frequency. Okay, that is first thing. Those are few things. Now, yeah, this frequency. I am confident that one can do this. Evaluate this frequency. This should be straightforward. This is also kind of straightforward if you have done your EM2 well enough. So, yeah, two things, two very sophisticated things to do. Love to do this. One, frequency of oscillations, electron oscillations as a function of repeller voltage. Second question is, let's not do that. And the second question is, given a frequency, given E, okay, so are these electron fields also time harmonic? Maybe they are. Right? These time harmonic electric field, given time harmonic frequency mu r, mu E. Given time harmonic E field with frequency E is equals to E, what's the time harmonic E wave equation, irradiation E wave? What's the frequency? What's the E wave? Corresponding to irradiation emitted by the cable, by the coaxial cable भाई अंदर, मतलब पता नहीं यार. These are strong claims inside, strong subtle things inside. So those are the three things that one has to calculate. See, obviously before you calculate anything, these big picture stuff have to be coherent in your mind, right? When do you solve the problem? When you actually understand the question. So obviously I'm trying to spend my time in understanding the question properly. Okay? Or else it's just you feel lost and you don't even feel like doing it, right? So this is the question I have in the single cavity thing. Good questions, right? Yep. Frequency. So given the frequency of the field, that is time harmonic, and you put a coaxial cable that converts that fields information into a current information, which is also some sort of field information, which will come from in the next experiment, as I keep saying. These currents will also give you another wave, EM waves, which are actually radiation. And interesting. The interesting thing is all the electromagnetic radiations, are they like the field configurations are waves if and only if field configurations are radiation? Is this claim true? गजब प्रक्रिया में भाई, मतलब field configuration is radiative if and only if waves, time harmonic waves. I don't think so, because we've already seen stuff in EM2. We solved some configurations where it actually doesn't gate has time harmonic waves, but space harmonic or time harmonic waves, but it's still the power radiated at infinite distances is still non-zero. Okay, so this claim is gone, I suppose, but it would have been fun to look at such claims in EM2, but well, who's talking about having fun in EM2 class? Last semester was so fucked up, but I still tried to do stuff, but yeah, whatever. So how much time was it been? Time to लिखा होगा 36 minutes. Okay, so questions resolved. Should I do the calculation now, or I don't usually do calculations in the sessions because I can do those on my blackboard or whatever, because I'm not lost anymore, right? I do these sessions because I need someone to discuss this stuff with, and I discuss it myself, because and I like doing that. So okay, fine. So you have the questions. So I would say that single cavity का working so समझ में आ गया almost, more or less, right? You first accelerate by putting an anode cavity, and then you decelerate them by putting a repeller electrode, which now kind of introduces the oscillation part, bunching of electrons, which are very important. That is the main basic principle behind Klystron ka working. So that is good. What else? Single cavity working almost fine, apart from, of course, the big picture is fine. I have calculations to do. There is no feeding of a low input RF involved. You see, the whole point of the first question is this: the frequency of oscillations is actually coming from the repeller voltage in this configuration, instead of giving you a RF input, low amplitude RF input. So that's gone, and that's it. Single cavity thing's done. Now the very, very, very appealing things: microwave source. So this is very connected, right? Second question of this is connected to the microwave source. So axial cable, microwave source. So this is the question 1 of this part. Is cable hai, shape pe bhi matter kar sakta hai. How are these producing fields? With the calculation. That's the first part. Second part is, what is the nature of these waves? Nature of waves, propagation. That's it. Okay, and then you have first we have nature of propagation, and then what is third waveguides. Question 1 is, how is the rectangular waveguide acting? Iska role kya hai? And question 2, iska role kya hai? To be more detailed, what is rectangular waveguide? How is rectangular waveguide responding to the above nature? The question 2 of the previous section. Rectangular waveguide plus the nature of that, how it is doing, and then what is this doing? Impedance matching, whatever they call it. Will this give you the polarization? What is expected is linear polarization. plus spherical waves. Crazy. Nice. Done. I'll just sit and do calculations. Exactly. See, that's how I keep doing stuff, right? You start with a problem, you look at it, you look the resources, and you convert that problem to something that you can solve on your own. That is the greatest feeling. That is the greatest feeling I experience in physics. I mean, that is it's a great feeling. Yeah. So, really, I mean, yeah. You have a problem. Hunt for the resources. Convert it to something you can solve on your own. Perfect. I'll end it with the quote. Interesting quote. When you're stuck or understanding something involves something physical. Something physical should involve maybe. How do I put it? Understanding something physical the greatest satisfaction comes. Satisfaction? Come on, yaar. The greatness. Fuck, yaar. I'll just write this. Understanding something physical to me is hunting down the primary details of something and converting the problem to something that I can solve on my own. That's what learning should be, right? My own in the sense, again, there are resources and stuff, but something on my own is you convert it to your knowledge you have, knowledge you can assimilate, knowledge you can produce, and whatever shit you can talk about that. Okay, alright, that's it. I'll now happily do the computations of